You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody rise up weekdays. Catch us live somebody. Let's go.
Good evening. Good morning. And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Yes, I know that there's some things going on out in the West Coast, and we will be covering that in a little while for sure. But, you know, I just got back from taking care of a few things. It's been a late evening for me, but I felt like I wanted to cover this and talk to you guys about this because this is a big deal. Because I think that this is going to be, let me just say this. This is no bueno. This could be very, very bad for a lot of people, a lot of content creators, etc. So this is the reason why I'm doing this really quick. As a live, we have got to talk about this, and it's just insane, just to say the least. But hopefully you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this evening finds you in good spirits. Yes, it's late, but at the same time, woo! Another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. Let us not forget that. Okay? But do me a favor as we get into this, as we proceed to give you guys some breaking news. Okay? By the way, breaking news. And this is a big deal. Like I said, this is a big freaking deal. So get on in here. But as you are here, hit that like button down below. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. If you are watching on those other platforms, make sure you hit that follow button. Okay? Hit that follow button. Please and thank you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button here on my main channel. Go to my secondary channel, The Pascal Show Clips. There's a lot of stuff that we're talking about on both platforms. Make sure you do so. Okay, go do that. Hit that notification bell so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, please and thank you. Don't forget to hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. Check out my locals. There's a bunch of stuff. Okay, check those things out. And of course, don't forget, check out PascalMerch.com. All right, you can find some really, really nice stuff out there like this right here. Handcrafted hoodies, sweaters, t-shirts, etc. Go check it out. I'm sure you'll find something you love over there. Okay, guys, we got to get into this. Okay, now you see the title above, down below, wherever you're watching this show right here. And this to me is a very, very big deal. Okay, and I don't agree with this. I'm going to say this really quick because I know you guys are seeing the thumbnail. I know you're seeing the title and all that. And this is not a dig at a platform that I actually really like. Okay. This is not a dig at that. This is just the news. And this is very, very interesting indeed. Diddy is now suing not only Courtney Brugess. We'll talk about Courtney Brugess in just a second. Not only is he suing Courtney Brugess, Courtney Burgess's lawyer, but he's also suing NewsNation for even having the interview on that platform. Let me repeat that again. He is suing a huge cable network, NewsNation, for even having an interview with Courtney Brugess and Ariel Mitchell Kidd, Courtney Burgess's lawyer. They're even suing. He's even suing the owner of the network. Make that make sense. Make it make sense. I don't agree with it at all. Why are they getting in trouble? That's ridiculous, in my personal opinion. Suing the network for having someone on the platform to talk about what they say that they have? That makes no sense to me. Personally, I don't agree with it. Okay? And I think it's trash. Like, you going after our Banfield? Okay? You going after our Brian Enton? Come on now. Make that make sense. It doesn't. No, I'm not cool with that. Like I said, this is very, very weird. Now I get it. Let me just say this really quick. I get it. Diddy gonna be all up in his fee-fees. Clearly, Diddy's in his fee-fees, and he got nothing but time on his hands. Or let's just say this too. He's following in the footsteps of Jay-Z as well. Let's not forget that too. Jay-Z hasn't sued any major networks so far, but he was close to doing something with Pierce Morgan back in the day when he had why am I forgetting her name now? Now I feel like a jerk. It's a late show. Sorry, guys. But when when they had Jaguar Wright? Wow, that completely slipped my mind. Sorry. But when they had Jaguar Wright on Piers Morgan, that was the only time that I feel like they got really close to getting into some serious trouble, some lawsuits from Jay-Z and the Bay, Beyonce. But now it feels like Diddy is following in suit with this whole thing. We're going to get into this in just a minute, but still, he is now, I'm not kidding, he's filing a $50 million lawsuit, defamation lawsuit against Courtney Burgess, his lawyer, Ariel Mitchell Kidd, and the owner of the cable network NewsNation that actually aired the interview with Courtney Burgess. Now, here's the thing. Remember a couple days ago, we were watching an interview with an accuser. She was all silhouetted out. Ariel Mitchell Kidd was sitting right next to her. Her name was Ashley Parham. Remember her? Remember that interview? It disappeared. Sorry, this has to do with this and has nothing to do with this at the same damn time. Just ride with me for a second, okay? So they were on Banfield on NewsNation. The interview was up there. I saw it live on TV. It was there on TV. A couple hours later, the clips of the video, clips of the interview went out. A few 5-minute clips here and there, right? Then a few hours later, the full 40-something minute interview was put out on the NewsNation YouTube channel, right? So we are watching it. We're sitting there going, okay, we want to get the scoop. We want to get the information. We want to talk about this and bring awareness to everything. And of course, ask our questions as we always do because we inquisitive mother lovers. Let's not forget that. But then suddenly, out of nowhere, as we're in the middle of the video, the thing just goes private. And of course, we're all sitting there going, wait a second. Why is this suddenly going private? What happened? Did we do something? Are they in trouble for something? What happened, right? So we were able to find other ways like that. Even so, by the way, there were 2 different clips on NewsNation, on YouTube, on their YouTube channel, that suddenly disappeared as well. So not only did the full interview disappear, there are 2 clips from the interview disappeared as well. There are 2 little 5 to 6 minute clips disappeared as well. Wild. But then what's interesting is a few days later, the full interview resurfaces. They put it back out. And I still am wondering why that happened. Is it because they knew this was going to happen? Is it because they knew that they were getting a defamation lawsuit? And they were like, "No, take it down. I don't know. We got to take it down. We don't know. We don't know what to do." Right? It just didn't make any sense, right? It was weird. Right? But then at the same time, it still got put back up. I don't know if it's still up anymore, but it was up a few days ago. Even so, people were commenting in the comment section, basically saying like, "Why? What's up? Why isn't this thing up anymore?" Hold on, I'm just checking. just to make sure. Yeah. Well, hold on. The whole clip, it looks like, is gone again. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, from what I see, the whole clip looks like the whole interviews are gone again. But there are clips. The clips are back up again, which is interesting. Okay. So the full interview is gone. I don't see it anywhere so far. And I'm skimming through this quickly. It may be up here, but it's been days. So I don't know if it's still up there, if it's still there or not. From what I see, it's not there anymore. But still, no matter what, it was taken down. And then it popped back up again. And I guess it got taken down again. And I keep wondering, is it because they knew some ish was about to go down? And I love NewsNation. Okay. I love the platform. I like what they cover. You know what I mean? I'm a fan of the Banfield show and all that stuff, right? But I am kind of curious as to what happened here. Because it's weird. Very, very weird. But anyway, I digress. Now we see a whole new lawsuit, a $50 million lawsuit. He's suing Courtney Burgess. Okay. He's suing Courtney Burgess. He's suing Ariel Mitchell Kid. And he's suing NewsNation for even just having the interview on their platform, which I don't think that is even right. I don't see any wrong in them having the interview. I will say that. It's not like it's not like the Chris Brown lawsuit, because Chris Brown is suing for $500 million. He is suing Warner Brothers. He is suing Warner Brothers for the docuseries that they made specifically about Chris Brown. The one thing that he's angry about is that they're calling him the R word, and they brought a woman. They brought a woman that is claiming to be a victim of Chris Brown's, that had a lawsuit that dropped, that was dismissed because everything that she said was a lie. Allegedly. It didn't make the inside of a courtroom because none of her claims matched up. So, Chris Brown is suing for $500 million because of somebody who was brought onto a docuseries where they made false claims in the past, and those false claims were proven to be false. And they bring this person onto a docuseries to unearth their allegations, saying he's a violent individual. Now, don't get me wrong. Chris Breezy already has his fair history of problems. Not only just Rihanna, a whole lot of other ones too. Carucci and all that stuff. Any of that ring a bell to some of y'all? Plenty of history of BS in the past, and problems with women and violence in the past. But here's the thing. They brought that person on after the fact. So it makes sense for a $500 million lawsuit. They brought this woman on after the fact, not while the case is still ongoing, not while the case is still up in the air on whether or not it's going to see the inside of a courtroom or not. There's a huge difference. Massive difference. If Courtney Burgess goes to the federal agents, they bring him in as a witness. They ask for these thumb drives. He gives them to them. They find nothing, so they drop it and they let him go. And then after that, NewsNation brings him on and he's still talking like, hey, I got all the thumb drives and yeah, he did all this stuff and I saw him with the little and no, right? I saw it all. I saw all the footage. If that was the case after they dropped the case and he was still going on NewsNation to talk all kinds of mess, then I would totally understand a defamation lawsuit and even bringing the responsibility to NewsNation. But that's not the case here. This is still an ongoing investigation. This was still an ongoing case at the time that Courtney Brugess went on to NewsNation. So how is NewsNation getting hit with a defamation lawsuit when all they did is ask them questions about why he was being brought in for questioning by the feds? How is that defamation? Let me be real. Diddy's reaching. Chris Brown's makes sense. His lawsuit makes sense. That lawsuit makes absolute 110% sense. But you go and going after Warner Brothers, but you going after Diddy, going after NewsNation for asking questions doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. It's a real stretch, in my personal opinion. I get him going after, I could see him going after Courtney Brugess, for sure. I could see him going after his lawyer. I mean, that's what's happening with Tony Busby. Not sitting here saying that it's right, but I can see that happening. That makes more sense than going after a whole network that's just asking questions, yo. Like I said, if the timing was different, this would be a completely different conversation. Then I'd be like, yo, NewsNation done mucked that up. Yo, wow, they shouldn't have brought him in. That whole case was dropped. Why did they bring him back in to lie more? If he was caught lying, why would you bring this guy on to lie even more? Make that make sense, right? But that's not the timeline here. The timeline was they saw him that he was out on the streets after he walked out of the courtroom after testifying. They were very interested in asking him questions on what happened, what kind of stuff does he have in his possession? Does he actually have these thumb drives? What actually happened in the conversation that he had with the feds and whatnot? That's all they asked. So where and why does that network deserve to get hit in this fashion? Let me be real. I'd say the same thing on any other network. If I like them or not, I'd still sit here and say, that ain't right. I don't care if I hate them and I'm like, they're super, if I believe they're all just nothing but propaganda and all that crap, I'd still say the same doggone thing. I'd be like, why would you go after this particular network? They didn't do anything wrong. If the timeline is off, yes, they deserve it. But the timeline is not off. It was literally like the same freaking day, y'all, that this guy walked out of the courtrooms. And then next thing you know, that night he's he's on an exclusive on NewsNation talking about what he was doing in there. How's that defamation on their part? You also got to remember, this guy, Courtney Brugess, he was all up in the videos, all up on YouTube, all up in these YouTube videos, making guest star appearances, for crying out loud. He was turning into a season regular on some of these YouTube channels. Real talk. So how is he suddenly, how is, what? It's a stretch for me, y'all. It's an absolute stretch. But let's take a look at this, okay? So Sean Combs, the music mogul facing STing and racketeering charges, filed a defamation lawsuit on Wednesday against a man who said in interviews that he had been given videos that showed Mr. Combs, Diddy, in spicy kind of unthinkable, disturbing, and deplorable encounters with celebrities, including of people he said appeared to be littles. Now, again, like I said, I've even said this before, and I don't care. I'm going to keep it a bean with y'all because we are all on the side of logic here. But you mean to tell me you have thumb drives of this kind of footage and you not once went to the feds or to the police? Not never. You just sat on those thumb drives and you knew that there were minors on them, but you say that there were littles on them, but you ain't never seen the footage, but you knew that there were names in the footage, and you knew for a fact that you say that you obtained Kim Porter's book, and that's all on the thumb drive, and it's all authentic and 100% real. How would you know what's on the freaking thumb drives if you never looked into them? Like I said, if you know for a fact that there are littles on these in those freaking thumb drives, why did you sit down and hold on to those things for so doggone long? Until now. I'm just saying. I think that's a logical question that I think we all want to have answered. Period. But you go on to these platforms, multiple YouTube channels, and say a bunch of things about things you know that are on these thumb drives. Okay. I'm not sitting here saying that I don't believe them. I'd like to see, I just want to know if the things are true or not. That's it. I don't need to see proof. I don't want to see any of the footage. I have no desire to see any of that stuff. Feel like you getting that stuff is like getting a plague. Okay? Nah, I'm good on it. But make it make sense, though. All that footage and nothing? You didn't go to the feds immediately? Oh my, I'm telling you right now, there'd be no hesitation on my part if I saw that stuff, if I knew I had that kind of footage. Are you kidding me? And you know for a fact, us parents out here, you know for a fact, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There'd be no hesitation. In fact, you'd be like, no. Let me be the first to get his ass arrested. Let me get my hands on him first. If that stuff is actually existing and you have that in your possession, why would you sit on it? It just doesn't make sense. Like I said, doesn't mean that it's not true. I'm not sitting here saying that I don't believe it. I'm just saying I want to see proof. I just need to know that the feds actually have it or not. But if you're running around on all these YouTube channels saying all kinds of stuff, getting on national television, saying international television to be exact, and going all over the place, saying all these things, and you didn't do you don't actually have it, shame on you if that's the case. But the man, Courtney Burgess, surfaced last year as a character in the ballooning internet chatter about Diddy, who is awaiting a trial in a Brooklyn jail. During appearances on true crime podcasts and in an interview on cable network NewsNation, Mr. Burgess said he had videos of the encounters. In October, he said he testified in front of a grand jury considering additional charges against Mr. Combs. Diddy's lawsuit asserts that such videos do not exist and accuses Mr. Burgess of, quote unquote, fabricating outlandish claims and stirring up baseless speculation about him. Now, here's the thing. If this is true, then this lawsuit is trash. Do you understand that? If Courtney Burgess does indeed have these thumbnail drives, or these thumb drives, and he did indeed hand them over to the feds, and they do indeed have absolute deplorable type of content on them, then Diddy is trash. And this lawsuit is toilet paper at this point. If the allegations are true. Continuing on, it says the allegations have caused Diddy severe reputational harm and have tainted the pool of jurors who will eventually consider federal charges against him. Let's be real. If these allegations are true, if Diddy is right, okay? If Diddy is right, then he has a point here. Absolutely. Let me be real. Diddy has 110%. He has an absolute 110% right to defend himself. That is his right. Hence the reason why you get lawyers. You have a defense team. You spare no expense to make sure you have the right esquires esquiring for that ass. That's it. But at the same time, he's got a point here. If you got somebody running around out here in these streets, especially these internet streets, and saying things that are not true, then this, yes, it can tarnish the jurors. It can tarnish the court of public opinion for sure. But again, we don't know what is true or not. That's the problem. We don't know if Courtney's telling the truth. We don't know if he actually did hand over thumb drives. We don't. And if he did hand over those thumb drives, what's contained in those thumb drives? Are they actually freak-offs? Freak-offs involving littles and whatnot? Is it or not? Let's get that answer at some point. And maybe this is one of the reasons why Diddy's also doing this lawsuit right now. Because he's sitting there going like, I need to know. If you lying, then we gonna catch you red-handed with this $50 million lawsuit. But if you tell him the truth, I'll at least know that you do indeed have thumb drives filled with content that is starring me and a couple other possible potential co-defendants. That could also be it too. But by the way, guys, please don't forget to hit that like button down below, please, and thank you. Crush it. Don't forget to do that. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Subscribe. Again, I know that the fires are going on out there. I may come back on late, do another late, kind of like a back-to-back, just to watch some of the fires and things that are going on, just so you guys know, because I am keeping an eye on the new fires that are going on, which is insane that there's more fires going on right now, just so you guys know. Okay. But let's continue on. All right. And I'm praying for everybody out there that it's just crazy that it just won't let up. Right. People who heard and believed defendants' lies this is what they have said. This is what they're saying. Okay. So his team. All right. So people who heard and believed defendants' lies have accused Combs on social media that is consumed by hundreds of millions of viewers each and every day of being a debauched monster and a P word, a PDF file. Okay, the suit says. Reached by phone on Wednesday, Mr. Brugess said, "I'm standing by my word." He had a lot of nerve to want to sue somebody when he's going to rot in jail for all the things he's done, he said. In addition to criminal charges, Diddy is facing more than 30 civil lawsuits in which he has been accused of SA. He has pleaded not guilty to the charges, and his lawyers have said that he has, quote unquote, never SA'd anyone, adult or little, man or woman, which we've heard a million times. Like I said, rubber stamp response. Mr. Combs' suit, filed in federal court in Manhattan, is the first that the music executive has filed himself since a deluge of claims against him have began more than a year ago. And of course, this is Courtney Brugess with his lawyer, who also is getting sued as well, by the way, Ariel Mitchell Kidd. Okay? And we know Ariel Mitchell Kidd. She's been in some documentaries. She's been on NewsNation just recently with Ashley Parham. So we've seen her quite a bit. She's representing other people. Courtney is not the only one she is representing, okay? His suit also makes defamation claims against a lawyer who has represented Mr. Burgess, Ariel Mitchell Kidd, like I just said, who discussed the supposed videos on NewsNation and names the television network owner, Nexstar Media, as a defendant. Again, Netflix, sorry. NewsNation didn't do anything. NewsNation did no wrong, in my personal opinion. I don't see the wrong that they've done. Because here's the thing. If you're looking at NewsNation, let me show you this. This is also like, what about Fox 5 from New York? They interviewed Courtney Burgess as well. What about TMZ? What about any of these other platforms? You know what I mean? Any of these other media outlets that have interviewed Courtney Burgess? Let's be real. What about all damn two? In a statement, Miss Mitchell Kidd called the lawsuit a pathetic ploy to silence victims and people who stand up for victims. She went on to say, I look forward to countersuing and ensuring the court punishes not only Diddy, but also his lawyers who filed this pathetic lawsuit for this frivolous and meritless filing. On the day that Mr. Burgess said he testified before a grand jury in Manhattan, he appeared on NewsNation, on the NewsNation program, alongside Miss Mitchell Kidd, Ariel Mitchell Kidd, and asserted that, quote unquote, 2 to 3 of the celebrities in the videos appeared to be possibly littles, not of age. Representatives for Nexstar and NewsNation did not immediately respond to requests for comment about the lawsuit. Mr. Burgess, who has acknowledged that he did not know Mr. Combs personally, has said that he believed the source of the video footage was Kim Porter. The woman, Mr. Combs, was in a serious relationship for many years and with whom the mogul had 3 children. He said that he received the videos through an intermediary, along with a manuscript of what he described as a rough draft of Miss Porter's memoir, which was later sold as a 59-page book on Amazon. Yes. Allegedly, he's saying he had the first ever version of this book, which obviously now is it 59? Yeah, it is really 50. I keep on thinking it's 60, but yeah, 59 pages. All right. Relatives and friends of Miss Porter, who passed in 2018, dismissed it as a fabrication, and Amazon pulled the book from its website. I am kind of curious if it's fully gone, because people, even Courtney Burgess, I think, was trying to put this out as his own as well. Right? The suit accuses Mr. Burgess of profiting from what it called a fake memoir, and leveraging false claims into internet fame. Mr. Burgess has said he testified in front of a grand jury that he had disposed of the original flash drives containing the videos, but that his phone and email may have also contained copies. Miss Mitchell Kidd said the government recovered Mr. Burgess's phone. The suit says Ariel Mitchell Kidd repeated Courtney's claims in a recent documentary about Mr. Combs called The Making of a Bad Boy, which began streaming on Peacock this month. In the documentary, Ariel Mitchell Kidd said Mr. Burgess handed the video over to the government, a statement that Mr. Combs' lawyers contend she knew was false. A statement that his lawyers contend she knew was false because No such video exists. Mr. Combs is scheduled to stand trial, which we already know, on Cinco de Mayo, on charges that he ran a criminal enterprise that was responsible for coordinating substance-fueled and coercive encounters called freak-offs. He contends that all of his spicy encounters were consensual. Now, again, when we see that he's filing this lawsuit, to me, Diddy just big mad. Diddy big mad. Let me just say that. Diddy big mad. He in his fifis, and I think that this is a stretch. And where I think is a stretch is on NewsNation. I think NewsNation did no wrong. I truly believe NewsNation did no wrong. Now, here's the thing, though. He can sue Courtney for sure. Absolutely. I can see that as a move and trying to get them to wiggle. Like, yeah, he got it. He does, like, the feds do actually have this other stuff. I can see him doing that. Do they have it or not? Are you just lying? Because that's the one thing that we have not gotten confirmed. That's one thing that we have not gotten confirmed as of yet. Is proof of what Courtney Brugess says he has. Does he actually have it? Or does he not have it? No one still no one knows. Still no one knows. Fifi, y'all, somebody who said, okay, somebody wants to know what Fifi's is. Fifi's means little feelings, like his feelings. Suddenly he's in his Fifis. He's in his Fifis, guys. All right? He's in his feelings. That's what's going on. That's what I truly believe. That he's going after whoever he can get, especially, let's be real, especially people who are stepping forward and saying, yeah, I know this person, right? I got this information. I have footage. I saw him do this. I saw him do that. All of those people could instantly get hit hard. He may not hit everybody, but he's going to hit as many people as he can, especially, you got to remember though too, especially the people, even networks that make money, that are big networks. This is a $50 million lawsuit, guys. $50 million lawsuit. And if he is to win, you know his money's depleting by the second right now, by the nanosecond, because he's got lawyers working around the clock, fighting every single lawsuit, including getting him ready for this federal court date that he has on May 5th. If he wins this $50 million, you know for a fact, he's like, great, let me get that money real quick. I gotta give it right back to the lawyers again. So again, like I said, I'm not here to bash Courtney Brugess, but I am kind of curious as to what happened. There's been no updates about any of that. Do the feds actually have that stuff or not? Is he telling the truth or not? And I think this is one of his ways, one of Sean Combs' ways of trying to find out whether or not Courtney Brugess has the information or not. But don't drag a network into it. That's ridiculous. The network did no wrong. The network did exactly what the people want. It gave what the people wanted, an interview and getting the exclusive. Again, a bunch of other platforms should be getting hit then. Like a bunch of other big platforms, because they interviewed them too. They interviewed Courtney Brugess as well. Again, you have TMZ, you have all these other platforms that have interviewed Courtney Brugess. Trust and believe. It's not just NewsNation. So why go after NewsNation? Regardless what your bias is. Okay? regardless what your bias is. Whether you like NewsNation or not, real talk. If this was Fox News, if this was CNN, if this was MSNBC, if this was OAN, if this was, I'm thinking of any platform right now I can think of that is like major news networks, okay? CBS, ABC, NBC, any of those things. I would still sit here and go, that is not right. That's not fair. That's not right. That lawsuit, them throwing them under the bus like that, it's ridiculous in my personal opinion. Because in my personal opinion, NewsNation or any news station that is asking the questions on something that is happening right there in real time, they're not doing any wrong. And Trump, that's so funny because so many people are like, yeah, Trump is going to pardon Diddy. No, he ain't. He ain't going to pardon that man, not never. I don't care. He is never pardoning that man. Hell no. Real talk. What has Diddy done for him? That's literally what I'm thinking. Okay? What has Diddy done for Trump that would make Trump go, great guy, fantastic guy. Drill, baby, drill. We're going to drill. Drill, baby, drill. Do you really think Trump is going to pardon him? No, he's not. Nah. I don't see it. I don't see it ever. Real talk. So, no. But with all this, what say you guys? What are your thoughts on that? Are you with it? Are you not with it? Etc. I'd like to know. Okay? Because he ain't pardoning not nobody like Diddy. I will say that. Nikki, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really do appreciate it. Okay. But yeah, I mean, give it time. We gonna see what happens here with this, because now we heard that there's a response from Courtney Brugess. Courtney Brugess did speak out and is like, yeah, this is a bunch of malarkey. He didn't say it like that, but you know what I'm saying. He said it's BS. He's like, man, he got better things to do than worry about me. He should be worrying about all the stuff that's coming up. He's that's not the best thing to say right now, but you know what I'm saying. He got better things to worry about than little old thumb drives. But at the same time, I'm kind of curious. Does Courtney Brugess actually have those thumb drives? Did they really hand over thumb drives that actually contain freak-offs involving littles? Or was he just fabricating everything for a little bit of attention? And possibly for a chance to sell his version of Kim Porter, what he claims to be Kim Porter's book. Those are all questions that need to be answered. And hopefully we'll get that answer very, very soon. All right. But that is the show. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for coming in. Okay, I know it's a late one, but I may be back on very, very shortly to watch some of these fires and see what the hell's going on, because real talk, there's another fire going on, and I may be back on in about 5 minutes for a short live, because we need to talk about it and we need to cover it. So do me a favor. Before we head out, hit that like button down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, please and thank you. Hit that notification bell, please, as well, on both platforms. Go to my secondary channel. Crush that subscribe button over there as well. That would be amazing. Don't forget to do that. All right. Of course, hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. Check out my locals. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there, guys. We really do. We really, really do. Anyway, guys, it's time to get going, and I'll probably see you guys in about 5 minutes. But it's time to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. Talk to you soon. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.